Batcast 66, the podcast where once a week we watch an episode of the 1966 Batman television show and talk about it. Today we're watching Batman is Riled. My name's Kendall.
I'm Scott.
Last time we left our dynamic duo, they were sneezing a lot and they were about to be unmasked on live TV.
Yeah, how do you think they're going to get out of this one?
Who knows?
Do you think they'll use their wits and maybe fisticuffs?
That's often the case in this show.
Yeah.
Any predictions, or should we get into it?
Oh, I can't wait. Let's get into this.
Cool. I guess there's nothing to predict. We've already watched the episode.
That is true, yeah.
Batman and Robin are about to be unmasked, and then we get a quick utility belt save.
Yep.
These dang blast pellets that Batman has. They're like, he uses them all the time.
He uses them so much, and I never remember that he has them. Like, this isn't something I remember from this series.
Yeah. I remember the crazy bat rope.
Yeah, I remember the bat rope, like batarangs, the bat cuffs. And then obviously everyone remembers stuff from the movies like the bat repellent shark spray, stuff like that.
Yeah, it's shark repellent bat spray, Scott.
I know. I should have. As soon as I said, I was like, I got that all scrambled up. But
so
yeah,
he drops the pellet, and they're able to free themselves before they're unmasked. But
doesn't it trigger like the sprinkler system?
Oh yeah. Wait, is that here?
I wrote not. My first note is not water.
Oh yeah. He triggers the sprinkler system, and then the Joker says something like, fight water with fire.
Yeah.
And the Joker has his own utility belt, and he kind of ties the two of them up.
Yeah, he uses his attack tying streamers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But that doesn't stop Batman for long, though.
Yeah, the Joker's trying to get away through the scaffolding.
Yeah, so it's usually I'm assuming it's a catwalk up there, but I wrote they clearly did this so they didn't have to film it because the camera doesn't pan up, and Batman just kind of looks up and kind of follows him, and you hear footsteps.
Yeah, I didn't notice.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of funny. But then Batman uses his utility belt again to get his bat rope, and the most hilarious physical act I think I've ever seen is him just kind of climbing but essentially flying up the bat rope, and it's really funny, unintentionally so yeah, we get a very different bat climb here, and
obviously it's just either Adam West or a stunt person being pulled up by wires.
Yeah, it's clearly wire work, but and I gotta assume it's a stunt person,
but
you don't see his face.
In universe, though, just Batman has to have so much upper body strength to just be with no footholds, just climbing up to this catwalk with his pure arm strength.
And he goes so much faster than every other time Batman and Robin use the bat rope. Where they do the camera on the side trick,
pretty wild.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite things I've ever seen.
Up on the catwalk, Joker and Batman have another confrontation. Batman gets tied up in some confetti, and the Joker gets away.
Oh, yeah. And I'm going to say, in regards to our last episode, talking about how Robin started saying holies in the first episode, I'm going to say holy ramp up, because holy smokes, he has a lot of catchphrases in this. So they get tied up in the streamers and stuff. Robin says holy serpentine, and he's going to have a lot of catchphrases this episode.
Nice. Yeah. Make sure to interject whenever they come up.
Yep.
Speaking of things we said last episode, we talked about how Batman just obeys every law.
Yeah.
But here we get a scene of Batman and Robin driving back to the Batcave, and geez, Batman drives like a lunatic.
Well, have you seen the bat turn? Like, yeah, it's crazy.
He doesn't even use the bat turn here, but he's just like not obeying the like speed limit or like traffic lines at all.
I guess the cops don't do that either when they're like driving around.
Yeah, but I don't know. Seems very out of character for this Batman.
I guess I can see that, yeah.
But I mean, the Batmobile is really cool, and I would drive it like a lunatic too.
Yeah. Oh, I think we've mentioned it many times. This is my favorite Batmobile, like by a long margin.
Oh yeah, very good, very good. So yeah, we get a very funny scene here because the narrator interjects, just asking the audience, hypothetically, have Batman and Robin met their match? Will the Joker's utility belt be their ultimate undoing? Then we cut to a newscaster.
Yeah.
And the newscaster asks the citizens of Gotham, hypothetically,
this is great. Yeah.
have Batman and Robin met their match? Will the Joker's utility belt be their ultimate undoing? And then the newscaster cuts to an interview he's doing with Commissioner Gordon, and he poses those same two questions to Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah.
This newscaster is like my favorite character.
I loved everything with him.
His son, I think his name was Harold.
Yeah.
He tells audiences that his son before bed was saying his prayers to like bless mom, dad, and his dog.
Yeah.
And then he says a prayer to Batman to like end the Joker's like
reign of terror.
Yeah.
The way he says it, it's all so melodramatic.
It's so good.
And Batman's such a silly concept to hear a kid pray about it. Like, I don't know, something about it is really funny.
Just like praying to Batman for salvation.
Yeah.
Hopefully this kid wasn't watching, because I feel like what happens next would be
like
very
nightmares.
traumatic for him.
Yeah, as all of a sudden the camera starts to shake because it turns out the Joker and his henchmen are taking over. He says whatever the newscaster's name was, I don't remember. Hey, no hard feeling, put her there. And then, of course, he shakes his hand. Of course, he's got a classic like buzzer thing that knocks the guy out.
So I guess I assumed it knocked him out, but also like
he goes stiff and like falls back, and then they take him away.
Yeah, until the end of the episode, we don't really get any confirmation what happens to this man. So like, for all we know, he just could have been murdered.
Yeah.
Like on live television. And you know, oh gosh, we've talked about it last episode and in the first two episodes of the podcast. Just the similarities between the Riddler and the Joker in this series are kind of wild, because we get this game show. Yeah,
the Joker plays an impromptu game show with his hench people at like the anchor desk. And like, he's essentially kind of like making a show, like a theatrical kind of presentation of what he's going to do.
Yeah. And this, like, while the Joker isn't saying any riddles here, feels very Riddler in its delivery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then this is the scene where he says something grammarly incorrect.
Oh, so yeah. So he's asking his hench people, who are the contestants on this game, there's an article of clothing. Oh, it's a belt. There's going to be a big switch. What kind of switch? One of the hench people answers an electric switch. And that's the wrong answer. And the Joker says, oh, every wrong answer results in $1 being donated to Joker's Home for Worn Out Bats.
See, all right, this is one of the things I really like about this version of the Joker is he tells jokes.
It's really funny.
Yeah.
But yes, so we get to the end of it, and the Joker leaves a little riddle for Batman. He says, he who laughs last laughs good.
And then Robin says, holy grammar.
Yeah, because that is That is grammatically incorrect. At
Mhm.
first, Batman's kind of thrown off by this whole thing because what's the
It's he who laughs last laughs best is the phrase.
yes. So Batman is very fixated on that, but Alfred posits that maybe there's something to Robin's grammar comment because if we were to take what the Joker said and make it grammatically correct, it would be he who laughs last laughs well,
Mm-hmm.
which leads the dynamic duo to bring up a James J. Laughwell,
Yeah.
who seems to have participated in some colonial activities, stealing artifacts from other cultures.
Which leads to Holy Safari.
Oh yeah.
But I before we move to past the scene too far, one of the things I wrote down is everyone besides Batman solves everything. Robin and Alfred figured out the key to the Laughswell thing. Like I figure like Robin's always solving, like feels like always is the one verbalizing everything, like all of the riddles, answers. Like I feel like everyone around Batman kind of is better at figuring that stuff out than Batman in the
Yeah.
show.
So in the Riddler episodes, it really felt like Batman was kind of just intentionally taking a back seat and letting Robin come to the conclusions. But here, it's pretty obvious that Batman is stumped.
Yeah, it's just something that really stuck out to me, like in this scene.
Yeah,
But it's cool they're hanging out with Alfred and he gets involved in the super crime and stuff.
Yeah. I have a memory of Alfred getting really involved in an episode, but we'll get there later.
Okay, I do not have that memory, so I'd be interested to go get there.
It's gonna be good. I'm very excited for that episode.
All right, I'm looking forward to it.
But yeah, I think that's worth keeping an eye on. Like, does Batman just riding on Robin's coattails?
Yeah.
We'll report back at the end of the series.
Yeah.
So yeah, Batman and Robin, they head to the storage facility where
this Laughswell guy like had all of his stuff.
Yeah. We get a bat climb here, and Robin is really upset about like being made a fool of.
Yeah, I wrote that this is the wholesome rope climb. Because they talk about like, how do they expect us to do so much? We're only human. And then Batman's like, think about that kid that was praying about us in the news. What about him? He needs us to be better. Stuff like that. I don't know. I thought it was very cute. And like it kind of reminded me like why superheroes are enjoyable. Like I know it's very corny, but I like when heroes are heroes. Like they're good people trying to do right. And like, yeah, it's not necessarily relatable, but like, I don't know. I like corny superhero stuff. As evidence the fact that we started a podcast about one of probably the corniest superhero show. I don't know. It just reminded me like, yeah, this is why I like superheroes in general, the larger than life characters trying to do good. Like, I don't know. I find it relatively inspirational or aspirational or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not going to aspire to be like these people.
Yeah.
But I do appreciate them in the simplicity of it all. We get another broken window.
Oh, I love when they just smash through windows.
Yeah.
It's so funny to me.
Yeah. Batman and Robin just smash through the window.
I'm a simple man. There's two things that will always make me laugh. The characters just smashing through windows and like a bad dummy falling off of something.
Oh, I do love a bad dummy.
Bad dummies falling, like the worse, the better. Those are the two things that always amuse me. And like, I love that Batman and Robin just keep jumping through windows.
Yeah. I guess that's a thing they just do, smash through windows. It just looks really comical.
Yeah.
Here in the live action. We get another fight scene.
Which is exciting, yeah. But this one doesn't have sound effects, so it's not important.
Yeah.
Or not as important. It's not climactic, I should say.
Yeah, well, because we're not at the climax yet.
Yes.
But I was just like, wow, this is
You
such
know,
an action-packed story.
and I was watching this, I was like, the action in the show is pretty fun. Like, it's wild. People are like jumping all over the place, and like cameras always moving. Like, it's
Yeah.
exciting. It's like legitimately exciting in my
Yeah.
opinion.
No, they do a really good job with these fights.
And one thing I noticed during this fight, because Batman and Joker end up squaring off and like kind of grappling and wrestling, like their color schemes like clash together and mesh really well. Like, just like the colors, the colors of it, I was like, oh, this is really cool. Something about the visuals of it like was neat. And maybe that's part of like why Batman and Joker like kind of always go together. Or maybe it's just, like blue and purple, like I don't know, something about it was cool. I just wrote that Batman's colors versus Joker's is cool.
So, and forgive me, I'm like a little colorblind, but like this Joker is like much brighter than the Joker we usually get, right? Like as far as the clothes he wears, he's more of like a magenta than like a deep purple.
Yeah, like something about this show in general is very saturated. Again, I think because color TVs were new, so they wanted to like wow people.
Yeah, I feel like because his colors are so bright.
But like so Batman's are too. Like they're all kind of turned up to 11. I don't know,
But
something about it, just they look cool together.
yeah, but if Joker were wearing his like traditional purple, or what would become his traditional purple, I
Yeah,
don't know.
where it's like darker.
Yeah, I feel like it wouldn't work as well. They would get kind of lost together. So
Yeah.
I think their decision to like brighten him up a bit like really works for their dynamic here.
Yeah. I just thought it was cool and I wanted to point it out because this is what I thought I was watching. I was like, I really enjoyed this fight scene in general. But yeah, so as it comes to a close, was it like the Joker and his henchmen are starting to get away and Batman uses his utility belt to try to like get them? But all of a sudden, like the streamers come and get those guys again. And then Robin says, Holy 4th of July.
Yeah, so Batman goes to throw one of his pellets, and yeah, instead of the normal explosion, they get covered in streamers.
Yeah, and then like a bunch of fun balloons drop from the ceiling with like messages. It's like Fooey on Batman. What is it, Tough Luck Boy Wonder or something? And like the Joker is great. Something like that. Oh no, so hooray for the Joker.
Hooray for the Joker, indeed.
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere in the fight, he switched Batman's utility belt for one of his own.
Yeah, for the Joker, like a Joker belt.
Now, am I misremembering, or does just like the Joker doesn't use Batman's utility belt, right?
No, he doesn't. I assume he gets it, or he at least gets Batman's off and puts his on, so he would use like his gags and tricks instead of his cool Batman stuff. But like, it's funny because like the point of this fight was just to do that and not to. I guess getting away with the loot would have been like a nice secondary thing, but I think this was to really get in Batman's head and kind of take him out of commission, as it were. Because I think this is the night before the SS Gotham thing, because there was a bunch of spinning papers, and I appreciate a lot of the headlines on them. Were kind of fun.
Yeah, we get the title of the last episode on
Yeah,
there.
the Joker is wild. Like, there was like little stuff like, talking about like crime rates and things. Like, I don't know, it was fun. Like looking for those details. But one of the smaller ones is like Batman and Robin to do the SS Gotham thing tomorrow or whatever.
Yeah. Before we leave the fight scene, or at least that set piece, Batman delivers the line, "He hit us below the belt."
Yes, I loved it. I'm surprised Batman got to it before like the Joker.
Yeah.
I like
so
that this
funny.
Batman says jokes sometimes. This one was more appropriate than I guess she had to a go-go or whatever. When what's her name? Molly got obliterated in his nuclear reactor.
Yeah. What a terrible way to go.
Yeah, that's what it was.
So yeah, Robin's reading those papers though, and he's just like losing
So
confidence.
distraught. Yeah.
And the story isn't really about that, but
Yeah.
it's cool to see that, like, they're not just bouncing back
Yeah, they're
after.
not only resilient, and this is where we get holy headlines again. A lot of catchers, but I appreciate that they're at least somewhat like well-rounded people. Like there's an attempt to make them like characters like that. You know what I mean? Where they have a little bit more dimension.
Yeah, I really appreciate it because, especially in this show, it's not expected. And then
Yeah,
as far as what Batman becomes, I feel like anymore he's like written as like, I am the perfect human.
yeah, he's like ultra beyond competent. One of my least favorite Batman tropes is give Batman prep time and he can beat anybody. Like there's an element of that I like, but like not all the time. Like that gets really annoying and old. And like in my opinion, that stuff becomes more boring than Superman being able to beat everybody. Because at least Superman has his set powers. Like Batman always will just invent something, some get out of jam MacGuffin. For this series, it's not as big a deal, but like that's a Batman trope I don't especially love.
Yeah, and this series is very clever, at least so far.
Yeah, I feel like they want to try. Like at least Batman has like setbacks before he comes up with whatever the solution is going to be. Like this is probably the lowest we've seen them so far.
Yeah,
Like
for real.
Joker keeps beating them, or at the very least getting away, and like
The city is like losing faith in them.
yeah, exactly.
Um,
Like they're about to get heckled, which is crazy.
Before they get heckled,
Yeah,
we go back to the Joker's amusement park hideout where we see the next stage of his plan. The Joker busts out a bottle of champagne, and one of his goons is just like, "Oh, you're gonna get Batman drunk? Is that the next part of the plan?"
I was surprised to hear them even like mention being drunk, even though we had a drunk guy in the last episode. But like, you know what I mean? Like it's weird.
Well,
Granted, it's the '60s, and there's been some drug reference so far.
I mean, we saw Batman drunk in the first episode.
Oh, he was doped, all right, and he was trying to just drink orange juice.
Listen, we still saw it.
Yeah,
Um,
it is still the 1960s. I got to remember that.
yeah, but this bottle of champagne is going to have a very special cork.
Yeah,
It's very unclear here, but we see what happens.
yeah, it's not made entirely clear, but like Joker's switching the cork on it with like some sort of crazy gadget cork he's got from his utility belt, and then he like rewraps it. Because in case someone doesn't know, when launching a vessel, it's tradition to smash this a bottle of champagne against the side of it for good luck. I don't know why that started, but that just is a thing.
It's time to christen the SS Gotham. Commissioner Gordon's there, and he's wondering where the heck Bruce Wayne could be, and says that they can't wait any longer and asks Batman to get things going. And yeah, the crowd here is really heckling Batman.
And Robin's taking it very personally.
Poor Robin.
I guess that's the kind of the way they kind of do it young, where like he's like really like kind of, I don't want to say hot-headed, but he's more quick to react to things than Batman.
Yeah, well, he doesn't have the
The
confidence.
experience,
Yeah, the confidence of a grown adult.
yeah. He hasn't been tempered by experience yet.
So yeah, Queenie. Not that Gordon knows
Yeah,
that.
yeah. She brings them the bottle of champagne, and Batman starts getting a headache, and is like, "Oh, let me take a pill for that." And then Robin, why don't you take this? It might be contagious.
And Robin, not reading social cues,
Yeah,
is just like, what the heck? I've never heard of a contagious headache.
and Batman's like, "Just do it, old chum."
Yeah, doctor's orders.
Yeah, which once we learn out some more pieces of information, Robin's hesitancy here is very strange.
Well, how do you mean?
All right, so I'll explain it when we get there then.
Okay. Looking forward to it. So Batman smashes the champagne bottle and gas just comes out.
Explodes everywhere, knocks everyone in the crowd in the area like out unconscious, including Batman and Robin, which Joker's henchmen and Gas Max show up and then take them.
I forget who it is. I think it might be Gordon. I don't know. Someone just is like, looks dead. Like, but not like they died, like they were like laying in a casket. They're just
Oh,
like,
I didn't notice like they had their arms folded over their chest.
no, their arms were at their side, but they were just like laying completely like on their back, like
Yeah.
straight as a
Not
board.
not the way someone would like kind of ragdoll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, this is
Like he just laid down.
such a silly show.
Yeah, no, that's what makes it so much fun.
Yeah. So Batman and Robin get taken back to the Joker's lair. Honestly, the Joker's henchmen maybe should have just had a knife in their pocket and just stabbed them right there.
I know, but you got to make a show out of it, right?
Yeah, I guess then Batman would be over.
No, I meant like Joker's got to make a show out of it because he's got a TV camera.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And he's like, oh, transfer the deed to the SS Gotham City, or I will kill Batman and Robin. They're like at a table, and there's like a guy dressed as an executioner with an axe. But so here's then what happens and makes me confused about Robin earlier. Because they both spring back up to life, and Joker's like, you should have been knocked out for hours, blah, blah, blah. Batman's like, because they were analyzing his belt and getting no clues earlier. The Joker's belt, that is. And he was like, you made your belt a little too exacting. We found a replica of your thing, of your cork, which why would he make that and give to him? But they were like, we realize what you're going to do. So I created a universal anti-drug pill. And then we took that. Why didn't Robin know that that was going to be the plan? Like he had to have known that they figured that out. So why was he like, I don't need to take the anti-drug pill for a headache I don't have?
Huh.
Yeah. It was
silly Robin.
Exactly. But now here we get into our climactic fight with the Joker and all of his hench people.
Yeah, the third fight of the story.
Which is now kind of the fourth, because when Batman first escapes this episode, like, you know, we talk about him like running up the rope. They don't really like fight, but like it is a confrontation.
Oh yeah. But yeah, not the
brouhahas they get into.
Yeah, not the brawls we have come to expect from this show.
Let's see, the sound effects we get are awk, bam, crunch, spelled appropriately this time. Yeow, which is fun because the O has like a tongue like it's a screaming mouth. Crack, and then oof with like 40 O's. But like I'm really liking how creative and fun all of the sound effect like stills like designs are. Like, you know, the overlays or whatever you want to call them, like they're really interesting and fun. But like, you know, it's another Batman fight scene. Like we've talked about how much fun they are. I do really like them, but like there's not a lot of really good details to get into.
Yeah, nothing super crazy happens. There's one part where like Robin picks up this like clown display and just starts like beating one of Joker's henchmen over the head with it.
Yeah.
Really like that.
So anyway, the Joker and his gang are defeated. Batman cuffs Molly with the bat cuffs.
That's not Molly. That's
not
Queenie.
Molly. Queenie. Sorry. We were just talking about Molly getting obliterated in the nuclear reactor.
Yeah. Queenie's like tries to flirt her way out of it, and after Batman cuffs her, he just looks at Robin and says, poor deluded child.
Yeah.
I thought that was so funny.
Some of that casual 60s sexism.
Of course, Joker and the rest of his goons get no mercy.
Yeah.
Robin bludgeons them over the head. But,
it's just one of those, it's one of those things. I know I talk about Star Trek a fair amount, but it is a contemporary show to this. And rewatching that, it is very casually sexist for all the progressive things that it has, for the time. It's just something to note about shows from the 60s. They're a product of their time. They're very fun. This show is very fun in its own ways, but like it does do stuff like that. And it's like kind of annoying a little bit in a 2022 sense, It doesn't ruin anything for me. It's something I notice and kind of pulls me out of the experience. If that makes any sense, I don't know.
The way he delivers the line, it feels like they're almost like playing that up.
Yeah. I will say, I don't think Adam West gets enough credit. I think he's a great straight man. He's funny, but like he plays everything straight. Like I know his most famous thing is like some days you just can't get rid of a bomb, which in the context of that is not a joke, but is very funny. But like his performance kind of reminds me of like Leslie Nielsen in like Airplane, where like he says these things that are kind of funny, but he does them serious. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
That's not something a lot of people can pull off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the show as a whole is kind of doing that.
Yeah, exactly. Like the show's earnestness, I think, is part of what makes it so endearing to me.
Yeah, I think our only character who is comedy relief is Aunt Harriet.
Yeah, I mean, the Joker and like the Riddler and those guys, like they're funny too, and everyone's very entertaining.
Yeah, but they're not like slapsticky. They're like they are their characters.
Yeah, and like if the Joker tells jokes, that's what his name implies.
Yeah,
and I like that he does it in this series.
Everyone goes back to jail, presumably.
Yep.
We get to see the newscaster again. He's not dead.
I'm very happy about that. We also get an update about his son.
The newscaster says that his son was so happy to know that there is a Batman.
I thought that was so funny because it reminded me of Yes, Virginia, there's a Santa Claus. I wish we got more of like characters from like around the city, And yeah. I'll be honest with you, like we mentioned, like Crichton and like some other characters. I kind of like that, like we get to know some of the like the people that live in Gotham City. Like I kind of wish that there'd like maybe this guy comes back a couple of times as like the news guy.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm interested in playing in this world, I don't know. I think that's fun, like the bit of world building. Because like all you remember about the show is like the principal cast, like Batman and his villains. And then like Commissioner Gordon and Chief O'Hara are just kind of there. They're there to just get Batman like in the same room with it, like the villain's plot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But even they get to do some fun stuff. Like with the end of the last story, like Commissioner Gordon's kind of like telling the story at like a party at Bruce Wayne's house. I'm like, oh, it's fun. Get to see some of their personality a little bit more.
No, yeah, true. And at the beginning of this story, we had
Chief O'Hara
at the baseball game.
Yeah.
But yeah, hopefully we get to see a little bit more of this world every episode. I think that's pretty par for the course so far.
Yeah. I appreciate it, and I wasn't expecting as much of it as we've got. Yeah. Which, to be fair, is not a crazy amount, but this is like we just finished episode 6. But it's really the third story, Like in my brain, this is episode 3.
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've reached the end of the show. There's a bit about Dick practicing piano.
Yep.
We're done. Joker's in jail.
We were all very riled this whole episode.
Oh, so riled.
I will say I appreciate, so I know they do the rhyming like couplets for the two-parters. I appreciate that the first episode the Joker was wild and this one Batman was riled.
Yeah. Although I'd say Robin was a bit more riled than Batman.
Yeah. I think Batman was, but he just wasn't as on it. So what do you rate the Joker's plan here?
All right. So the Joker's plan, I mean, I kind of instinctually just want to give him a 3.
I want to give him a 3 too, because I think he was mostly very successful and his plan was kind of interesting and like it was mostly working. He just Icarused it and flew a little too close to the sun. If he didn't instigate Batman that last time when they switched belts, he might have gotten away with it.
Yeah. Oh, and I don't think we mentioned, but the reason Batman knew that the champagne bottle was the delivery method was because there was no discoloration on the seal of the bottle.
Yeah, I think he said it was like the 1940s or something.
Yeah,
he was like, yeah, because you remember he said that like when he was handed the bottle to christen the ship.
Yeah, so
it's like some detective
Joker
stuff.
made like 2. We do. That is Batman being a detective.
Yeah.
So 2 little mistakes on the Joker's part. I guess he's kind of foiled twice though. Like he did try to get rid of Batman a couple times, and
I think comparatively, comparing him to Riddler and Penguin so far, I think this was like the best plan. So like the best scheme we've seen.
yeah, I mean, honestly, Batman never really figured out how to beat the Joker's utility belt.
Yeah, I guess, yeah, he didn't. He just kind of figured out what the Joker was up to and like was able to counteract that a little bit. It stinks because like I'm sure when we next see the Joker, he will not have a utility belt. But like after this, like in news, like with all the news and stuff, like why doesn't everyone have a utility belt?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I say we just give him a 3.
Yeah, I'm down for a 3. My instinct was 3.
Yeah. Yeah. Do we have any other responsibilities here?
No, just tell people to like and subscribe and comment. Email us at batcast66 at gmail.com. And once we start getting stuff, we'll respond to things in the show, questions and comments and whatnot. What did we miss? What do you guys think of so far? And then it's a podcast, so we need ratings. That helps. So if you're enjoying it, share, rate, do all of that stuff. You hear it a million times.
Yeah, you already know what to do.
Yeah.
All right. So next week we get a new villain.
Yeah, I'm excited. So far, I've been enjoying each episode. Seems to have gotten better and better. So yeah, hopefully that continues for a little while.
All right. Yeah. So we'll catch you next week. Same Batcast time, same Batcast channel, and maybe bring a sweater.